Happy Wednesday, 7th grade. We're coming back to, of course, looking at subjects and verbs agree. Now, this was our work from yesterday. You completed pages 93 and 94. So what I wanted you to do is just quick review. Singular subjects take singular verbs, which means if the subject is singular, one thing, person or place, then you have to have a verb that ends in S. If it's plural, which means more than one, then you do not have a verb that ends in S. So keep that in mind. And we know the number of the subject is not usually affected by the phrases between the subject and the verb. So we talked about that yesterday. Here are the answers. So double check go ahead and put me on pause and check your work and then resume. We also talked about making subjects and verbs agree when you have compound subjects. So again, compound subjects using the word and means that it's plural if it's talking about two or more people, places, or things. Now, keep in mind, sometimes subjects can be singular with the word and before it if it's talking about one person. So we talked about that yesterday. And if you use the words either or, neither nor, or the verbs or nor, the verb agrees with the nearest subject. So you always look at the nearest subject to find the verb. So go ahead and put me on pause and check your answers and then resume. Okay, now today's work is on page 95, and they go on and they talk about collective nouns. So look at rule number 5 with me, and it says this: collective nouns may be either singular or plural. When a collective noun, a noun that names a group, is singular in form, for example, jury, team, class, it may use a singular or plural verb. But when the collective noun acts as a unit, it is singular. But when the members of the group act individually, the collective noun is plural. So look at the example, number 1. The herd is in the south pasture. Now, herd here is thought as a unit, like all of them are there. So therefore, the noun is singular. So therefore, you'd use the verb is. Look at the second example. The herd run in different directions. Now, each animal is acting individually. So therefore, you have to use a plural verb that doesn't end in S, which would just be the word run. Look at rule number 6. The words there and here are rarely used as subjects. So since we will not see them as subjects, we have to look for a subject somewhere else in the sentence. When a sentence begins with there or here, you must look somewhere else to find that subject. Look at the example. There are many devices in a man's heart. Now, are is automatically going to be our verb, but who or what are? There and here can't be the subjects. So we see that devices are. Look at the second example. Here is the map you lent me. Is my linking verb. Here can't be my subject, so map is going to be, of course, the subject here. So again, notice depending on what your subject is will depend on what type of verb you use. So devices is plural because it's more than one, therefore you use the word are. Map is singular, so therefore you have to have a singular verb that ends in S, so you'd use the word is. Okay. Now number 7, look at the example. Expressions stating amounts like fractions, measurements, money, time, may be singular or plural. You have to read the sentence carefully. If it's acting as a unit, it's singular. If it's acting individually, it's plural. Look at the example. $5 was the amount for which we settled. Well, $5 is just one amount. And since it's one amount, it's going to make it singular. So you'd use the singular verb was. Look at the second example. 8 hours is enough time for sleep. So again, one unit, it's the time that we're looking at. Even though it says 8 hours, we're looking at time. So therefore, 8 hours is, because hours here, even though it looks plural, is going to be singular because you're only talking about one time. So is would be the singular verb there. But look at the other examples. 3/4 of the cake is gone. Now, of the cake's a prepositional phrase, so you can't have a subject in a prepositional phrase. So 3/4 would be my subject. Now notice 3/4 is only talking again about one cake, and 3/4 of that cake, individual, is gone. So therefore is would be the correct verb. It's singular as well, it ends in S. And then 3/4 of the boys are going. Now boys here is plural. 3/4 here would be a measurement that's talking about more than one. So are would be the correct verb there. Okay, now my dogs might start going crazy. I think someone pulled up in the driveway and they bark at that. So just ignore them for a few more minutes. All right, let's look at some of the examples here. Here is or are the plants you wanted for the garden. Now, in this case, we have, of course, the word here, but remember, here and there can't be subjects, so we're going to just cross it out, okay? And so therefore, we know is or are is going to be the verbs, but we have to find the subject. So we find the subject plants. Now, plants is talking about more than one, so it's plural, so therefore we say plants are, right? Because again, a plural subject that ends in S must take a plural verb that doesn't end in S, okay? Look at the next example. The jury has or have handed down its decision. Now we know jury is going to be our subject, and because we're talking about a unit, it's one jury, we see the jury has handed. So has is going to be our verb. We're going to cross out have here. Go ahead and cross that out, and has is going to be our verb. Okay, look at number 3. $50 is or are not too much to pay for a good pair of shoes. Okay, so again, $50 here is acting as a unit. It's talking about one payment. Because we pay for it, it's one payment. So $50 is going to be our subject, and therefore is going to be our action verb. We're going to cross out are here. Is going to be that action verb. Or, I'm sorry, linking verb. It's going to be a linking verb, but it's going to be singular is what I meant to say. Okay, look at number 4. The team plays or play its best on the court. Now again, the team is acting as a unit here. So team is going to be my subject, and therefore since team is singular acting as a unit, we would see plays is going to be my verb. Okay? All right, so that's what you're going to do for this exercise. Finish up 5 through 20. Look for your subject. Ask yourself, is my subject acting in a singular way or in a plural way? If it's singular, remember singular subjects take singular verbs that end in S. If it's acting more than one, it's plural, then plural subjects will take a plural verb that doesn't end in S. So go ahead and complete page 95. Put me on pause right now and then come back to me. All right, go ahead and turn to page 96. Okay, page 96, we're looking at some more rules for subject and verb agreement. So look at number 8, rule number 8. Titles of literary works, works of arts, organizations, and countries are usually singular, even if they're plural in form. So Nighthawks is a painting by Edward Hopper. Now notice here, Nighthawks is our subject. Notice that. But notice it looks plural in form because it ends with the S, but because it's only one painting, is going to be the correct verb here. Nighthawks is. And you have a singular subject needing a singular verb that ends in S. Look at number 2. The Girl Scouts. Now again, Scouts looks plural in form, but you're only talking about one organization. So the Girl Scouts, singular in form, was established. So was is going to be my verb, established as well, but verb phrase that's going to be singular in form. Look at the 3rd example. The Philippines is an island country. Now again, Philippines ends in S, but keep in mind it's only one country, so therefore Philippines is an island country. Okay? Look at rule number 1. Doesn't, isn't, and wasn't are singular and must be used with singular subjects. Don't, aren't, and weren't are plural and must be used with plural subjects. Jesse doesn't like shrimp. Now notice, when we look at this example, automatically you're never going to underline the N apostrophe T as part of your verb because that's always an adverb. So you see it's not underlined. But Jesse does like shrimp. So again, doesn't, isn't, and wasn't are singular and must be with singular subjects. Don't, aren't, and weren't are plural and must be used with plural subjects. Jesse is one person, so it doesn't like. Look at number 2. They don't digest easily for him. So they is plural, meaning more than one. So you'd use don't digest. So don't would be the correct verb, starting off that verb phrase there, don't digest. Look at number 10. A few words, although plural in form, take singular verbs. Mathematics, civics, rickets, measles, mumps, and news. Those words are just going to have to memorize. Mathematics, civics, rickets, measles, mumps, and news. These are examples of the words. So again, anytime you see these words, they're always singular, so you need a singular verb that ends in S. Civics is an interesting course. Measles is extremely dangerous. Mumps is contagious, okay? So anytime you see these words, mathematics, civics, rickets, measles, mumps, news, they're automatically going to be singular in form, okay? All right, let's go on down and let's do a few of these together, and then I'll let you work on the remaining exercises. So let's start off with number 1. It says this: Hot Springs, a city in Arkansas, is or are a noted health resort. Now, is or are is going to be our verb here, but we have to find our subject. Who or what is or are? Hot Springs is or are. So Hot Springs is going to be our subject. And then Hot Springs is just one location. So our verb is going to be is, and we're going to cross out are. So is would be the correct verb there. Look at number 2. The newspaper London Times was or were founded in 1785. Okay? So who or what was founded? Newspaper, actually here, London Times. That's a positive of newspaper. So it looks singular in form, but it's really plural because it's only talking about one newspaper. So therefore was is going to be the correct verb. We're going to cross through were. Look at number 3. Great Expectations is or are a lengthy novel. Now, you're only talking about one novel here, even though Great Expectations looks plural. We're only talking about one novel. So therefore, is going to be the correct verb, and we would cross out are. Okay, A Tale of Two Cities was or were written by Charles Dickens. Again, one novel, so we cross out were. Okay, The Evening News airs or air at 5 o'clock in Pensacola. Now, on this one, again, evening news is, again, go back up the screen. Notice news is one of the examples. Again, one of the examples here. So we know it's always singular in form. So therefore, news airs. So we're going to come back and we're going to say cross out air, and airs is going to be the correct word here. So what I would like for you to do is go ahead and finish 6 through 20. And then once you finish with 6 through 20, come over to the next page. Now here's what you're going to do. They're going to put all of these rules together, and they're really going to test your knowledge. So do your very best, read through each one, okay, and complete all the way down to number 10. So do 1 through 10. Okay, do 1 through 10 here, even though this isn't listed, just do 1 through 10, because that way I'll know you watched the video, okay? 1 through 10, and then come down here at the very bottom of the page and do 1 through 10 here as well. And that will show me that you watched the video. And so that means you'll have less work to do than anyone else who did not watch the video. So don't tell our little secret. Don't text it out there, okay? So just 1 through 10 on exercise A and exercise B. All right, use these rules to the best of your ability and have a great day.